Hey gang, welcome back and Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me again. When I started this channel back in 2024, in middle of March, I would say, my whole purpose of it was just to have fun. And don't get me wrong, I'm having a lot of fun. I really didn't think I would even have 500 subscribers by this point, but I have close to 1,000, and that encourages me to do so much more of this stuff. So I really appreciate you guys subscribing. If you have friends, have them come on board, have them subscribe too. I want to keep this thing going, all right? So stay tuned for more shit. Welcome to 2025, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Classic. Hey, what's up, movie gang? Welcome back to my channel. I'm the Movie Man. Now today, we're going to dive into a flick that's so iconic, so campy, and so bat-tastic that it'll make you say, holy nostalgia trip, Batman. We're talking about the 1966 Batman movie starring Adam West and Burt Ward. The one where Batman and Robin take on a villainous team-up that includes the Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman. And trust me, if you've never seen it, you're missing out on one of the most delightfully bizarre yet charming films ever to grace the big screen. So how did we get from the gritty, dark streets of Gotham to a Batman that's fighting crime with the power of pow, zap, bam? We're about to go through a history lesson that includes both Batman's rise in comics and how the 1966 movie became a cult classic today on Lights, Camera, Classics. Before we talk about the movie itself, let's rewind a bit to where it all began on screen. Now, Batman made his first appearance on the silver screen all the way back in 1943 in a 15-chapter film serial. It wasn't the Batman we know today, of course. The costume was pretty basic, and let's be real, the Batmobile was a far cry from the sleek car we've come to love, but hey, it was still a cool moment for the comic fans, even if it was a little, well, cheesy. Fast forward to 1949 and there's another serial, Batman and Robin, which was more of the same low budget but still a step in the right direction for Batman's live action journey. Now, the real turning point comes in 1966 when Batman, the TV show, hit the airwaves. And family, this is where everything changed. Starring Adam West as the Caped Crusader and Burt Ward as the Boy Wonder Robin, the show became an instant pop culture phenomenon. The series was packed with colorful villains, wacky gadgets, and that iconic campy tone that still makes fans laugh and cringe in equal measures today. Now, the show wasn't just a hit, it was a pop culture sensation. Every week, viewers turned in to watch Batman and Robin square off against the ridiculous villains in the most over-the-top, tongue-in-cheek ways possible.
This could be a death trap.
ABC did two-part episodes rather than a one-hour show. They did two-part episodes in the middle of the week, so you watched the first half on one night, then there was a cliffhanger, second half on the next night. Kids would watch one episode in midweek, and they'd go to school the next day and talk about how are Batman and Robin, or Batman, Robin, and Batgirl in the third season, how are they going to get out of this peril, and what were they going to do?
There seemed to be an unspoken code to the way the death traps worked. They would always show Batman and Robin about to be killed, but they wouldn't actually show them, you know, boiled in oil or whatever. But there was this one episode where Batman and Robin were going to be eaten by a giant clam, of all things. But at the end of the cliffhanger, Robin got like inside the clam's mouth, and the clam closed his mouth on Robin's, you know, you saw his foot go inside the clam's mouth and the clam closed his mouth. And when I was a kid, I thought that was code for Robin just died. So the next day at school, literally all the kids at school were like going, "Did you watch Batman last night? Robin got killed. Robin was like eaten by a giant clam."
And when you're 7 years old, this Batman thing It wasn't a joke. It was serious. Robin was really gonna get eaten by a clam, and I really was gonna worry about it until the next day. It was nerve-wracking.
You know, it's kind of the opposite of what we've seen in the later Batman portrayals. Instead of brooding in the shadows, West's Batman was a man of pure justice with an almost unshakable level of optimism and a whole lot of one-liners.
What a base of operations.
Yeah, it's a nice little pad, Cat Baby.
And if you're wondering where all those colorful, over-the-top villains came from, well, the show's writers took a bit of inspiration from the comics, but also leaned heavily into that campy 60s vibe.
Holy sardine!
So when the Batman movie came out in 1966, it felt like the ultimate culmination of everything the show had been building towards.
What known super criminals are at large just now?
I'll check it once, Batman. Bonnie, let's have the latest status report on known super criminals still at large.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bonnie. Coming up, Batman, on the closed-circuit TV screen. Come over here.
Status report. Known super criminals not currently imprisoned.
The Penguin.
That pompous, waddling master of foul play, maestro of a million criminal umbrellas.
The Joker.
Devilish clown prince of crime. Oh, if I only had a nickel for every time he's baffled us.
What, the Riddler loose, too?
So it seems. Loose to plague us with his criminal conundrums.
Gosh, and the Catwoman.
End of status report.
Could be any one of them, but which one? Which ones?
Pretty fishy what happened to me on that ladder.
You mean where there's a fish, there could be a penguin?
But wait, it happened at sea. See? See for Catwoman.
Yet, that exploding shark was pulling my leg.
The Joker.
It all adds up to a sinister riddle. Riddler. Riddler?
Oh, thought strikes me. So dreadful, I scarcely dare give it utterance.
The four of them. Their forces combined.
Holy nightmare.
Batman, could it be?
I don't know. But I think I know where to find a clue. Come on, Robin. To the Batcave. We haven't one moment to lose.
The Batman movie, which hit theaters in July of 1966, wasn't just a simple film adaptation of the TV show. Oh, no. This was an all-out blockbuster event. The plot evolves around Batman and Robin facing off against four of Gotham's most famous supervillains, the Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman, who team up to basically destroy Batman and take over the world, but mostly to have a lot of fun doing it.
You and your trained exploding shark.
Oh, crack! How should I know they'd have a can of shark-repellent bat spray handy? Why, you sniveling sardine?
Hey, you pompous, puffed-up penguin! Our friends make peace. Have a shake on me. A joke a day keeps the gloom away.
Sick-a-mac-a-day. Scratch out their eyes.
Take away that ravenous panther.
So help me, Catwoman, I'll feed him to the birds. I'll incapacitate the beast with my trick confetti.
United Underworld. We're about as united as the members of the United World headquarters on Gotham East River. What's the matter with you all?
She's right. She's right. If we don't manage to somehow swallow our super criminal pride, I'm afraid we're
Right,
going to be...
Mr. Riddler. All right. We must hang together. Almost assuredly we shall hang separately.
Oh, and what a pity that would be on the eve of the greatest criminal coup anyone ever dreamed of. Ah, how did it go, Catwoman?
Perfectly.
In this movie, Batman and Robin have to stop the baddies from using a ray device to turn world leaders into vapor. Yes, vapor. And it's all played with the kind of seriousness you'd expect from a superhero movie, except that it's completely ridiculous at the same time. You've got scenes where Batman fights off henchmen with choreography straight out of a high school play. I'm serious. Ridiculous gadgets like the Bat Shark repellent and the iconic Batmobile speeding through Gotham in the most exaggerated way possible. It's a visual feast of Technicolor joy, really. Now let's talk about why this movie has stuck with fans over the decades. For starters, let's be honest, it's a time capsule. The movie is pure 60s energy. From the costumes to the groovy music, it's a product of the time, and that's exactly why people love it. There's a sense of innocence and fun that's just so different from the darker, grittier Batman of today.
The costume designer, they're going to want to know everything that's going on in art, in the comic books, as well as the popular culture, and primarily what's happening with young people. Remember, we're beginning a revolution in 1966. We have moved into a new era, so they're going to be looking at that culture and try to make the costumes reflect what's going on in the kids' world.
Holy rising hemlines.
That was the beginning of the mod period. The clothes went from being like flowery and lacy and more super feminine to being more abstract, more geometric, more solid colors.
You're far from mod, Robin.
We emerged at a time of the designers doing haute couture. And, you know, that was very colorful, somewhat bizarre, and it still is.
Gosh, what marvelous threads.
Let's face it, today's Batman is all about shadows, broken psyches, and moral ambiguity. But in 1966, Batman was fun and lighthearted. Adam West's Batman is basically a walking joke, always serious, but also perfectly willing to get into absurd situations. Whether he's climbing up the side of a building with a wholesome, star-studded group of bystanders or trying to solve problems with ridiculous inventions, it's hard not to love the sheer ridiculousness of it all. And speaking of Adam West, he was a perfect fit for the role. His portrayal of Batman wasn't just about being a superhero, it was about embodying the ideal hero, the one who believes in justice, always does the right thing, and is totally unconcerned with the absurdity of the world around him. And honestly, his deadpan delivery of some of the most over-the-top lines is just pure gold.
He was the right Batman at that moment. As far as I'm concerned, was that the right Batman? Of course not. Of course not. No, Batman's dark, serious, creature of the night. He's scary. He's got scary villains, not clownish, over-the-top villains. They're homicidal maniacs.
It wouldn't be until the 80s, it wouldn't be until Frank Miller, where Batman had a chance to break out again. And we got the Tim Burton Bat.
But beyond the camp, there's something so charming about this movie. It's got a heart to it that's impossible to ignore. In a time when superheroes were just starting to emerge in pop culture, Batman was a beacon of joy. And even though it's aged in a way that's more so bad it's good than high art, it still delivers a brand of nostalgia and innocence that's fun and it can't be replicated. You can watch it with friends and just have a blast, and that's why it continues to be a cult classic to this day.
We've come a long way from the Prime Minister's exploding cake. Or have we?
The 1966 Batman show is what made Batman a massive part of the American culture. Without it, you don't get the Tim Burton Batman movies, you don't get the Chris Nolan Batman movies, and you probably don't have Batman surviving for the 75 years that he's been around.
Nowadays, you know, we take superheroes for granted because, you know, all of the big movies right now are all superhero movies. And I don't know if that would be the case if that Batman show hadn't been on in 1966, because it showed Hollywood that, hey, there's coin to be made here.
Not to mention, this movie birthed some of the most memorable moments in superhero cinema history. That iconic pow and bam, it's practically a meme at this point. Plus, there's the all-star villain lineup with performances from Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, Cesar Romero as the Joker, Lee Merriweather as Catwoman, and Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. These actors totally leaned into their roles, giving us villains that are as fun as they are threatening in the most delightful way. Fast forward to today, and the Batman 1966 movie is still a fan favorite, especially for those who grew up watching it on reruns or for anyone who wants to understand where the Bat-Mania all started. The movie may not have been the first superhero film to hit theaters, but it was the first to turn Batman into a cultural icon in all his campy, colorful glory. Now, I know there's a lot of cape fatigue out there, but if you haven't seen the Batman movie from 1966, I highly recommend giving it a watch. It's got everything. Campy humor, classic villains, a whole lot of ridiculousness, and yes, it's still incredibly fun all these years later, and that's so Hollywood.
Robin, prepare to rehydrate.
Ready to rehydrate.
Turn on the water faucet.
Success! Success! They've done it! They've done it!
Success, success. We've done it. We've done it.
Éxito, éxito! Ustedes, ustedes! Ils ont réussi! Ils ont réussi!
Well, that's it for today's video. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Batman 1966 movie, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. And leave a comment below with your favorite moment from the film. Did you grow up watching it as a kid, or are you new to the campy Bat world? Let me know. Thanks for watching another episode of Lights Camera Classic. As always, keep your cape on and your Batmobile ready to roll. I'll see you next time, and remember,
here comes Mayor Adam West himself. Mr. West, do you have any words for our viewers?
Box, toaster, aluminum, maple syrup. No, I take that one back. I'm gonna hold on to that one.
Thank you, Mayor West.